everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some predictions about Lila/Cerise/Edna mode that I have for season 6 of Miraculous, purely based off everything she did in the rest of the show, because right now we have no information about season 6 and we won't for a while.
It's been 84 years.
Now in this video I'm going to be focusing on Lila, and while Adrian and Marinette will be mentioned because, you know, they're the main characters, them and their relationship isn't going to be really mentioned in this video. So if you want to know my thoughts on what Lila might do to Adrian specifically, I'd watch this other video I made instead. This video is more like Lila predictions other than Adrianette involvement.
Alright, let's do this.
First of all, what I really hope they don't do, okay, is a repeat of Vulpina to Confrontation, where Lila in a new disguise just comes to school and does the whole thing all over again, exactly the same. I'm sure there will be some similarities, I'm expecting that, but if they do the exact same thing, I will cry. But like I said, I do think there will be some similarities, such as Lila coming in and manipulating and lying to everyone. She will of course be in a new disguise because no one's going to be able to trust her as far as they can throw her if she arrives as Lila, but I hope this time she's much sneakier with her lies. The only plausible reason Lila succeeded in her lies before is because the rest of the class just didn't Google it. Like, are they all stupid?
Yeah.
Her lies were so silly and so out there and so easily disprovable. Is that even a word? Anyway, but I think this time she's going to be perhaps telling lies about other people, spreading rumours around school in an effort to try and cause arguments and eventually to get everyone to turn on Marinette. And of course she will still hate Marinette, which is her motivator here, like it was her last line of the season.
I look forward to seeing you again, Marinette Dupan-Chang.
So even right until the ending at the moment, she still hates Marinette for taking Adrian away from her, as we see in the Befana flashback in Ladybug. And she also hates Ladybug herself for ruining her chance with Adrian in Vulpina, and as a result I think Lila will also try to manipulate the brand new big ass hero team away from Ladybug. Do they really need this many of them? God, we're asking for problems here. Now, it's unclear after the events of Miracle Queen if the identities of some of the holders are known to the general public. No one ever seems to mention it, like, oh yeah, I know who Rena Rouge is, etc. So I'm not sure if Lila knows, since it seems Natalie didn't send her that evidence in Revelation, and like I said, no one's mentioned it apart from like Natalie and Gabriel, so I really have no idea. So let's assume she doesn't know who any of them are. I still think she could turn the team against a Ladybug.
How do you know?
I am so glad you asked. So, I think she could become a hero on the team, and I have two ideas for this. Number one is that, like Ladybug and Cat Noir in Revolution, she's able to power up, which means she can akumatize more than one person at once, so she can akumatize herself into a hero, much like we see Gabriel Babes akumatize himself before, and also akumatize the regular Akuma victims and get into the team that way. However, I'm assuming this power-up for her would be the same as Gabriel Babes, in that there's no cooldown period. She can akumatize as many people as she wants, one after the other, without having to de-transform a Nuru to recharge between each one, which I do think is the more plausible theory, since that's the power Gabriel had, unless Lila manages to unlock the ability to do that somehow. So if that's the case, and I think it will be the case, I think Tomoe will help her become a hero. We'll get more onto why I think Tomoe would do that later on in the video, but Tomoe and her company do seem to possess the ability to be able to make someone a superhero with all of their resources, kind of like Batman or Iron Man. So she wouldn't be a superhero with like magical powers like Ladybug, or gained biologically like Spider-Man, but a hero made super with technology. Of course, Lila would have to pose as a Miraculous user who is using a Miraculous from a different box, since all the ones from this box are taken, and of course Suhan and Luca, and I guess Penny and Jagged Stone too, because Jagged Stone, the man who abandoned his two children, is the perfect choice for a guardian of extremely powerful jewels. But I'm sure the four of them would look into it and eventually find there's no Miraculous of whatever Lila said it was, and eventually expose her, but there are several temples, so it will take time to find out. So I guess Luca and Suhan might be absent for some of the season again. I suppose Lila could claim it's a certain Miraculous that does exist, like she does in Vulpina. Obviously she uses the Fox Miraculous there, but obviously this time we already know who uses the Fox Miraculous, it's Alia. And I'm not sure if the grimoire Gabriel had holds information on every Miraculous in existence, and if it does, I'm not sure Lila had the time in Volpina to read all of it, or even just some more of it, and find one that happened to not be in the miracle box that Marinette uses. I'm not sure that's plausible. However, if she still has a Tsurugi laptop, I guess she could break into the Agreste mansion and steal the grimoire, which is a lovely comforting thought to think she could just walk into Adrian's house whenever she wants.
So that's great.
So I'm not sure she'll fight in every Akuma battle though, if this does end up happening, but I am hoping the rest of the team get to use the power-ups, including Lila. Obviously her having a power-up as a fake Miraculous user will do nothing because she has no Kwami to power up, but she could feed it to Nuru later and perhaps the power-up will have an effect on the Akuma victim. Speaking of which, I definitely think Lila will have a hand in riling up the people she eventually akumatizes through her manipulation, but she won't always be available, so I think she will also have some allies to help her. Gabriel Babes had allies in Natalie and Tomoe who both helped him in different ways, including being willingly akumatized, the weirdos, and I think for Lila it would be Chris, Manon, Ella and Etta. Younger children are very easily impressionable, and we already know that in Time Tagger that Chris is akumatized by Lila, and honestly he didn't seem to mind too much about it, so I don't think it's that big of a stretch for Lila to keep babysitting Chris and the other younger kids under her new identity and get them to help her, whether that's through akumatizing themselves for her or manipulating others into getting akumatized. It might seem like a bit of a strange idea to have children help her, but in fiction it's really not that strange to be honest. In Oliver Twist, Oliver joins a gang full of children like him and they help Fagin and Bill Sikes to steal, and in Sherlock Holmes he has the Baker Street Irregulars who are basically homeless children who gather intel for him, and even Gabriel did use Lila to some extent in the show. So honestly, I think it would be smart for Lila to do this too, because who's going to suspect children are helping her? No one really. I think it's a pretty good idea. And another ally for Lila would be Tomoe. Now, I don't know exactly what her part of the deal was with Gabriel Babes, although it does seem like it involved Adrian and Kagami, and I think she'll strike a deal with Lila that one exchange for these Iron Man-like powers is that Adrian and Kagami get to be together as some weird couple who don't have any romantic feelings for each other as part of Lila's wish when she wins. Now, I think part of Lila's wish will be she wants Adrian. God, why is everyone obsessed with this boy with banana hair? It's beyond me, I don't know. But Lila will agree and just not do it in the end because it's Lila. Although I do hope Tomoe has more of a motivation than just so her daughter can date a certain boy. It's a bit weird, Tomoe, to be honest.
It's a little too creepy.
But speaking of Kagami, I think she might be a bit confused in this situation. Lila was her best friend, which, you know, that came out of absolutely nowhere in perfection. But, you know, she's her best friend, and I do believe the last time they spoke was in Emotion. While I'm sure Kagami wouldn't want anything to do with Lila after all the exposing at the end of the season, which I'm sure Marinette or someone else has told her about, she might be a bit like, okay, but where is she? Did she drop off the face of the earth or something?
Where have you been?
I think she would investigate and maybe find Lila with her mum and crack this whole thing wide open, but then get manipulated with her amok so she can't tell anyone, but we'll save the rest of that idea for my theory video on Tomoe. But speaking of parents, let's talk about Sabine, which I know that sounds like a strange place to go, like it's come out of nowhere. But in Revelation, Lila was being a bit weird with Sabine.
Thank you, Sabine. You're like a mother to me.
So perhaps if a disguised Lila manages to become Marinette's new BFF, she could come over for sleepovers and befriend Sabine, and maybe also eventually turn Marinette's mum against her, which I'm sure will be fun. And the final parent we're going to talk about in this video is Gabriel Babes.
He's been dead for 10 years.
Oh my god, you don't say thanks, I didn't know. However, I still think Lila could communicate with him with the Quagatama. I hope I said that right, I'm still struggling with it, still don't know how to spell it either, like Marinette did with Joan of Arc in Reunion. Now, I know they did try to redeem this man, very unsuccessfully. However, in Reunion, Joan of Arc only has memories until she rescinded her Miraculous. The form of her memories can't tell Marinette anything after she gave up the earrings, because the earrings only allows Marinette to see what the earrings also experienced, what Tiki experienced. She can't give any more information afterwards because it's not the real version of her. just the memories. So the Gabriel babes, up until Ladybug gets the butterfly Miraculous off him, is still kind of evil, still kind of a bit insane, you know what I mean? He only starts to repent after she gets the butterfly off him and shows him the video of Emily. So the memories of Gabriel stored in the Quagatama would be kind of evil, and I think in turn could influence Lila to be like that as well. And if all this lightning at the end truly is the Supreme, I think the spirit memory version, whatever, of Gabriel teamed with the Supreme could like send Lila kind of even more evil than she already is. And further than that, I'm assuming Gabriel would be able to tell her some more secrets, like Alia and Nino, their identities, other things too, like Adrian, Kagami and Felix being senti monsters. It could just all end in disaster if Nuru gives her a Quagatama. I don't know if she can force him to do it, I don't know if he has to do it. I'm not sure quite the rules surrounding them because they just aren't really talked about enough. So I'm not quite sure of the rules surrounding the Quagatamas as of right now. I wish I could speculate a bit more, but it's also a bit more difficult when I'm not sure what Lila's motivations are for her wish. Like, I'm not sure what she wants other than Adrian maybe. But I really don't know, to be honest. Like, Gabriel had an absolutely solid motivation for his wish, but I have absolutely no idea what Lila could possibly want. Maybe her mum. But I don't know, I just don't know enough about her. We literally know nothing about her, to be honest. However, her wish aside, I don't think she'll succeed. I think her reign over Paris, and I don't think this will be in season 6 by the way, I think her reign over Paris will end when Ladybug and Cat Noir, and maybe whoever her real mum is, assuming she's still alive, will be able to convince her that what she's doing is wrong and Lila will be redeemed. But hopefully they do a much better job of it this time, because the way they do redemptions in the show is questionable. Let's just say it's questionable. Anyway, besties, those are all of my Lila predictions so far, but you know, as soon as we get episode titles, images, a trailer, of course we'll be doing more if any more information comes out about Lila next season. So I'd love to know what you think she's going to be up to next season, besties, and I'll see you in the next one.